Me and Anive are gonna make soup dumplings. I'm really excited about this because I love soup dumplings, but we can't go out and don't think I can find it anywhere around here anyway. So we're gonna learn how to make them. So for some reference, I'm using this video from that guy. You see that guy? This is a 4-part process. First is to make your soup. The soup that's gonna become gelatinous, that goes into the little dumpling and becomes a little soup dumpling. So for that you will need 1 onion cut in half, but don't cut it like that, you will cut yourself, guaranteed. A piece of ginger cut in half. 3 cloves of garlic, just mashed, do not need to chop these whatsoever. And then a bunch of green onions. The guy in the video charges vegetables, so I just copied him. I tried my onion and my ginger. And then you're gonna add your chicken. Hopefully you guys have a lot of fat for this because it needs to be gelatinous and mine was not. It was more watery and not as fatty as it needed to be to become gelatinous, which is really important. So make sure if you're adding bone broth, you add extra fat. And then you're gonna add all your vegetables. Stir it with a knife, that's optional. Cover it, put it on low and let it simmer for 2 hours. Step 2 of this process is to season your meat. So first, you're going to add a bunch more green onions. Don't cut it like Anive cut it in the first clip. You need to chop this like a professional, like me, like that. And then you're going to add cabbage, chopped again like a professional. Throw that in there, and we're going to add some sesame seed oil, some soy sauce, and then a mixture of garlic, salt, and pepper. And Anive is going to mix that all up, and you have something that looks like this and smells super delicious. Cover it, set it aside, put it in the fridge. And assuming it's 2.5 hours later, we're going to strain our broth. Be careful, it was really hot. Add some soy sauce, and then pop it in the freezer for however long it takes to become gelatinous, and get started with the most annoying part of this whole process, which is making your dough. So I tried to make this a gluten-free recipe, but it did not work out. So I'm not going to go into details about the measurements. But I want you guys to know I tried my very best. I did everything he said, added salt, added very hot water in increments until it was a dough, until it was smooth and everything came off the bowl. And then I moved it to a cutting board. Kept kneading it, but as you can see here, it kept falling apart. Now, gluten-free flour doesn't have gluten, obviously. So the protein that is gluten gives the dough the property of being elastic and chewy. So without it, it's going to crumble. It's not going to hold together like you need it to for soup dumplings. You could add things like xanthan gum, which will give it that property that you need. I didn't have it, so I just gave up, decided to use all-purpose flour. You're going to add 2 cups of flour to 1.5 cups of hot water. It has to be hot. It will burn your hands, but that's what you need to make these dumplings good. And trust me, my dough came out good. So use hot water. It's gonna be kind of wet, just keep mixing it. Keep, mixing and kneading, and eventually it'll fall right off the bowl and you'll have a nice smooth dough. To give you some time reference, it's gonna take about 20 minutes of kneading. I'm not lying. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how to knead dough properly. I don't know anything about baking. But it took me about 20 minutes to knead it so that it was this smooth. Look how smooth it is. Look how smooth this is as I roll it out. Come on now, I could have a pizzeria. Let your dough rest for about 10 minutes. I don't know if you need to do that, but the guy said to do it, so I did it. And then you're going to cut your dough into 16 even pieces. Take one of your little pieces of dough and roll it out like so. Make sure you put flour on your rolling pin and your surface so it doesn't get too sticky. And then you're going to roll it out until it's as thin as you can get it without it breaking. Because keep in mind that you're going to fill it, and as you're pinching, you're kind of pulling. So you want to have a little bit of room on there. Alrighty, now it's time for the best part, putting this all together and making the actual dumpling. You're going to start with your filling. Make sure that you put a lot in there so there's actually meat inside the dumpling, and you want to have space in the middle to put your soup. Now, I'm going to say this again and again and again. Make sure your soup has a lot of fat in it so it's actually gelatinous and not just frozen solid water, flavored water, because that's basically what this was. It also makes it really hard to break up the pieces, whereas if it was gelatinous, you could just cut it into cubes, pick them up, have no problem. But you want to add the soup in the middle. Add more than that. That was not enough soup. So you're going to take pieces of the edge and pinch them together. And then you're going to go all the way around the dumpling until your dumpling is completely closed. This took me quite a few bad dumplings to figure out just how to hold it and then pinch it so that it looks kind of like a dumpling and so that it was completely closed. Okay, so here you have my soup dumpling. It is completely closed and it looks somewhat like a dumpling, so I was very, very happy about this one. This is the prettiest one I've ever made. It's probably a little too much dough at the top, but it's so pretty and neat. Look at the pleats. Look, look, look. Look at all those. Congratulations! You made it to the easiest part of this whole process, which is to cook the dumplings. You're gonna add a layer of cabbage and then your dumplings on top of that in a steam pot. After like 10 minutes, they look like this. Really yummy. These were kind of flat actually because I didn't have enough soup. But I made some more later in the night and they came out perfect. Look at that. Perfect. I'm gonna add some soy sauce to that. If you have red chili oil, and it's just like absolutely perfect. Enjoy these bad boys. Subscribe, like this video, and have a good day.